Good day, good people of interweb land. I'm the one and only Dave.
And I'm all that I can be. I'm Jacob.
And today we're investigating multi-GPU gaming and just how viable jamming more than one graphics card is into your PC.
So the big question remains, is CrossFire and SLI dead?
Well, most assuredly yes.
Great. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff below.
Bye.
See ya.
Okay, right, we've been reliably informed by our lovely channel editor Alice that we're not allowed to post 30-second videos to YouTube. Something about water retention, viewer retention, water interaction.
Some space
video,
for ads.
Yeah, some video nerd stuff anyway.
So we're going to explain exactly why you should forget any multi-GPU fantasies and always be looking to get the best single graphics card for your rig.
Just the one. CrossFire and SLI are the two individual multi-GPU technologies that AMD and Nvidia use to pair up their graphics cards. CrossFire is just some hardcore AMD branding, while SLI stands for Scalable Link Interface.
Which sounds nowhere near as cool.
No, it does not. Originally, both needed ribbon cables to link their master, primary card, and slave, the bitch card, but AMD has recently updated its CrossFire design to use PCIe 3.0 to communicate between the multiple GPUs without one.
Both Nvidia and AMD technologies operate using either split frame or alternate frame rendering. The former means that each frame is split between however many GPUs are in an array, while the latter means each GPU takes it in turn to render a frame.
Alternate frame rendering, or AFR, is the more common method.
One thing to note is that the CrossFire allows different GPUs of the same generation to be used together, while Nvidia's SLI will only operate with the exact same GPU, though it can come from different manufacturers.
The potent promise of both CrossFire and SLI is that you could buy a relatively inexpensive mainstream GPU one day, and then later on down the line add another one to essentially give you high-end graphics performance.
Potentially by then, the price of the second mainstream GPU would also be lower, meaning that the end result you get an equivalent level of gaming performance to a single top-end GPU without having to pay the price.
Win. Would that it were so, but this holy grail of value PC gaming rarely ever worked out.
The big problem has always been that adding in the second graphics card doesn't necessarily equate to double the performance. Well, that and the burden of the game support always falls on the developers, so not all of them bother to even make their games CrossFire or SLI compatible, let alone bother to do it well.
And why would they? The cost of game development is vast, and the number of people with decent CrossFire and SLI profile would benefit is minuscule.
But also, why would the GPU creators want gamers to be able to spend less than the cost of a high-end graphics card on two lower spec cards and get the same performance?
Short answer, they don't. Which is surely why Nvidia has nixed SLI support on its most popular cards, the GTX 1060s.
But there is a third way, accessible via modern APIs such as DirectX and Vulkan. DirectX 12 offers its own multi-GPU support, though it does still need to be supported by the developers themselves.
It's linked into the API itself, however, that should make it easier for devs to implement. It should.
But we spoke with Scott Herkelman, Senior VP of Radeon Gaming at Computex this year, who explained how he sees multi-GPU and CrossFire going forward, and it doesn't sound too good for CrossFire either.
We are considering how much investment we put into it, he told us. But it's not necessarily because we as gamers and enthusiasts of the PC platform don't care about it, it's the amount of investment the ISVs, the game developers, have to put into it.
Cheers, Scott. So it's the devs' fault?
Well, kinda. But it's a chicken-egg situation where devs don't support more than one card because there are so few multi-GPU gamers, and so few people invest in multi-GPU setups, so it goes around and around.
But the promise of the modern APIs making it easier for devs means that's where AMD's focus will likely be in the future.
So here's Scott again. Our balance will probably end up that new APIs get multi-GPU support, Herkelman told us, and older APIs, because of a lack of return on investment and most games are coming out on the new API platforms, that will probably have to suffer a little bit.
Which essentially sounds like the old CrossFire setup will be sidelined when it focuses on making sure Radeon DirectX 12 multi-GPU support is as strong as it can be.
He did tell us that it was only his opinion, but as one of the head honchos of AMD, people are likely to be listening to his opinions.
And right now, AMD's multi-GPU support is incredibly strong in DirectX 12. We're seeing nearly 2 times the performance boost in the likes of Hitman, Deus Ex, and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Though Vulkan support is a little less impressive right now. In fact, a single RX 580 performs notably better than if you pair two of them up together.
So where does that leave CrossFire and SLI?
Well, it seems both companies are effectively ditching their respective multi-GPU technologies, or at least they're supporting gaming anyway. In the professional space, multi-GPU operation is far more commonplace, and for compute-based applications is a lot easier to implement.
CrossFire is being sidelined in favour of supporting the multi-GPU implementation of DirectX 12, and SLI is being restricted to higher-end graphics card, so a tiny percentage of system builders can make showpiece PCs that can run a few games really well.
This hasn't really been a problem over the last year, however, with GPU pricing being what it is. Even buying a single card has been nigh on impossible, let alone two.
And there has been little hope of cheaper mainstream cards on the horizon either, making the prospect of doubling up to deliver high-end performance a pipe dream anyways.
A pair of RX 580s can deliver RX Vega 64 levels of performance, but given that none of those cards are either affordable or available, it makes it all rather a moot point. But with the GPU market set up to be more resilient if such a situation arises again, the future of multi-GPU gaming is still pretty limited.
Told you, CrossFire and SLI are pretty much dead technologies. Of course, there will be a few people out there still running multi-GPU setups, but you're less than a percentage point on the Steam hardware survey.
Yeah, essentially you don't matter.
No. On that positive note, we'll say thanks for watching and recommend you check back both here, the YouTubes, and somewhere over there, PCGamesN.com for more PC gaming and hardware loveliness.
Thanks for letting us bounce off your retina.
Bye!